On today's video, I'm gonna show you how to make a gorgeous Christmas wreath with a snowman theme, step by step. Keep watching. All right, everyone, before we get started, I'm gonna show you all the products we're going to be using. Now, like I mentioned before, this is all provided by Shinoda, but that does not mean that you cannot go somewhere and get the exact same thing. Or if you have any needs from these products, just make sure that you look at my description box, and I'm gonna leave their information so you can check them out. All right, so the first thing I wanna show you is this beautiful ribbon that we're gonna be using for this theme. It's a 10-yard bolt of ribbon. Then we're gonna combine it with this candy cane with the glitter. This is this Stevens ribbon, and you know I'm crazy over this Stevens ribbon. Then I'm gonna use a mesh. So we're gonna use a combination of these three ribbons to weave into our wreath. We're gonna use some of these really pretty berries that have these like glittery icicles in it. Then also to fluff our wreath out, we're gonna use some of these cedar that is all glitter as well. I'm gonna use a few ornaments, these really cute snowman ornaments. I also love them. I think that you guys know by now that snowman is one of my favorite things for Christmas. We're gonna use some ornaments that are glitter in silver, and then also some that have a snowflake. We're gonna use 3 of these really oversized large red ornaments. I also love the way this looks with the white. It's gonna be really, really poppy. And then also these plaid. These are covered in fabric and they have some snow. They're super adorable. You know, Jingle Bells is my favorite Christmas jingle. Then I'm gonna use 2 of these Christmas snowman hats. And for our focal point, if you know, we need a focal point, we're gonna use this big hat. All right, let me get all of these ready and I'm about to get started. Stay tuned. All right, everyone, you know that to make a fabulous wreath, the very first step you need to get done is to fluff your wreath. We chose this really pretty flock wreath and I think it is such a good quality wreath. I love all of the flocking in it. And then also I want to mention this stand. It's easel actually. I just wired it to the top, wired it to the bottom, and we'll be able to work on it right here. All right, so once that you have your wreath all fluffed out, the very first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add our ribbons. And as I showed you, I have 3 different ribbons, and I'm gonna start with the thickest one. And this is a 2.5 inch, and you guys know that I just love to drop it on the floor. And I'm gonna start right here on the top. But I'm gonna grab the second one, and I'm gonna put it right behind it. It's gonna be the black one. Then I'm gonna grab the third one. This is silver mesh, and I'm gonna drop it right on the floor. So we want the black one on the back. We want the stripe one to be our focal point in the middle, and then I'm gonna use the mesh on the front. So basically you're gonna pinch right here, and I'm gonna start right here. And using these bristles, you're gonna go ahead and tie it with the bristles. Then you're gonna give it about a 6-inch loop, and then you're gonna go in and you're gonna tie it one more time. All right, so I think you kinda get an idea of what I'm doing right here. So I'm gonna finish putting the ribbon on my wreath and I'll be right back with you. Keep watching. All right, everyone, so I just got done doing these poofs of ribbon, and as you guys can see, I started to split them. What you want to do is you want to alternate. If you're gonna see the black on this side, then you will need to move and put it on the other side, like this. And you wanna do this to all of your ribbons because you want them all to show, so you can see the variety of ribbons that we just put in here. So I'm gonna take a second to split them and fluff them, and I'll be right back with you. All right, step numero dos is we're going to add a focal point, and of course our theme is snowman, so I'm gonna go ahead and add this really cute top hat to our focal point right here. Now what I did is I went ahead and added some chenilles to the back that is gonna help us to attach to the wreath, and I kinda want it to be whimsical, so I wanna do it cattywampus. And if you don't know what cattywampus is, well, you need to Google it because I don't know what that is either, but I hear it said all the time. So we're gonna attach our chenilles right here to the back. If you want to attach it also to the bristles on your wreath to secure it and make sure that it stays up, we're going to go back with the wire cutters and cut the excess of our chenille, because when you have a flocked wreath like this one or a tree, you want to make sure that those chenilles don't show. So far so good. I like the way this looks. It's going to be really whimsical on your door. And I have a set of 2 smaller little hats right here that I'm going to add right here to the bottom. So if you're going to do your focal point to the right, you need to go directly to the opposite side so it's balanced. So I'm gonna go ahead and chenille this, and I'm gonna add them right here, and I'll be right back to show you what it looks like. Stay tuned. Okay, so far we have the top hat, we have the ribbons, and I added 2 little top hats right here. I'm sure you know by now that our theme is Snowman, and I'm super excited to finish this. So I'm letting my glue melt right here. All right, so far we have the ribbons and the top hat. So the next thing I wanna add is I'm gonna add some of these big ornaments. And even though I'm going to glue them, I'm gonna add the glue right here, but I wanna use this to attach to a bristle. So basically just dip your ornament into the glue right here. And you know I have the top hat right here. I have my two top hats right here, so I'm gonna put one on each side right here. So putting that glue and pressing right here, you grab one of your bristles and you stick it through that ornament right there, and then you bend it in half. Now this one, I'm going to make sure that I go upside down. This one went up, so I wanna make sure that to give it more character, I'm gonna go ahead and put it right here. All right, so then I have 3 of these glitter ornaments. So I'm gonna do a triangle. If you worked in the floral industry or any design, then you know that you have to create a triangle when you're adding elements, and that's why I always recommend in working in sets of 3s, because it is easier to keep in mind. So I'm gonna dip it into glue right there. I'm gonna add one right here. And I love these glitter ornaments because they really just add the sparkle that holidays call for. So I'm gonna go straight to the bottom right here. I'm gonna open up. Now here's the other thing is like right now, because we're working with our elements, what we want to do is we want to just work and then fluff at the end. What you need to do is you need to make sure that all of your pretty elements on your ornaments show. So I'm gonna dip that into the glue. And then I'm gonna bring it straight over here. I'm gonna add it right here with the other hats. Now, what I like to do is I like to add some of the less expensive ornaments and just a few of these really pretty, kind of like designer ornaments, because it's what makes your wreath look more expensive and more luxurious. And just by adding those two, when the light catches your eyes, immediately gonna go to them. All right, so we're done adding ornaments to this wreath. So now what I'm going to do to really blow it out is I'm gonna add some berry picks and some snow cedar picks. That's going to really extend the shape of this wreath. Keep watching. All right, everyone, so the next step is going to be to add these cedar picks, and we're going to elongate the shape of our wreath. And to do that, I'm gonna go ahead and cut about 1 inch from the stem. You make sure that you always give your picks a little bit of life by fluffing them, because remember that no cedar pick looks like that in nature. So what I'm going to do is dip it into my glue, and I'm gonna start right here from the back, and that's gonna help us to really extend the wreath form, and it's going to be really, really big and lavish. Now, the reason why I love this cedar pick, and this is probably one of my favorite ones, I've been collecting this particular pick for about 10 years, and I have probably about 200, because if you have a Christmas tree that is green, all you need is one of these picks, or not one, but plenty of them, to flock it without having to buy a brand new tree. And it just gives it that sparkle. I don't know if you guys can catch that on the camera, but it gives it that sparkle, and it just makes it look very, very snowy. All right, so I'm gonna go all the way around my wreath and make sure they really hangs on to the wreath form, because it all stayed that way, all right? And you always give this stem right here a curve, so it really hangs on to your wreath. I'm gonna do one more down here. And we're gonna go all the way around. Now, I think I've explained this to you guys before, but when you are doing a wreath like this, you have to go in a clock motion. You cannot insert one going this way and then one going this way, because if I was to add a pick like this, and if I'm already inserting like that and I put it like this, it's just gonna lose the balance on the wreath. So that's very important for you to know. Right, I'm gonna add one more here, go all the way. And if you want to secure them, just go ahead and grab one of your bristles, twist it into the stem of your pick. I'm gonna grab one more. We're almost getting to the top, and then we're gonna do some on the inside. Dip it into your glue. And secure with the bristle right here. Okay, so our final step is going to be to add some of these berries. And I have about 6 of them, and you don't need more than that, because they're just a little touch of sparkle and berry to go with the red. So the same thing, we're gonna go in a clock motion. And what I like to do with my picks, I always like to bend them like this, give them a little life. If you were to just get out of the box and insert your berry the way it comes, it really doesn't give it much life. So if you just fluff it a little bit, give it that curvature so it really sticks out, dip it into your glue, and make sure you stick the whole stem right there. And I'm gonna do the same, going all the way around. Give it that curvature. Like so, and I'm gonna have one coming out of this way, which will be our last one. So we have 2 more elements to add to this fabulous wreath. I'm gonna add this one right here. And if you want to secure, just go ahead and grab one of those bristles and tie it around. That way it's more secured. All right, so we're gonna add some of our final elements, and I'm gonna go ahead and add 3 of these really cute ornaments because it has the black, and I think they really just helps it to pop more. So I'm gonna dip it into the glue, and this is fabric, so it really is going to stay. I'm gonna go ahead and add one right here. Just make sure you push it, and as you can see, the fabric ones really hang on to it really quick and very, very tight. So I'm gonna dip it right here, making sure that it doesn't spill. I'm gonna add that right there. I'm gonna add a 3rd one over here. Sometimes you'll have to go ahead and open your bristles to insert your ornament. All right, I have a 4th one that I want to use, and it'll be our last one. So I'm gonna go ahead and add it right here. And that black and white check really helps to tie in with the hat right here. I'm gonna add some of this snowman because that's what's gonna really put it all together and make it look very obvious that it's a snowman theme. But for these guys, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna wire their little hat instead of dipping them into the glue. So basically just grab a wire, fold it in half, twist it around, and open that wire. And that's gonna help us really tie it into our wreath form. Now, always make sure that if you're doing an ornament that is a figurine like this, always take those tags off and the plastic little things. You don't wanna see those on your wreath. All right, I have one more. I could dip them into the glue really, but you know, this is something that you can take off later and use it or reuse it on some other project. So we're just gonna go ahead and tie it really tight from the hat. And I'm gonna find the spot, like I think this is a really prominent spot. So I'm gonna go ahead and find right here some of my bristles, and then we're gonna wire that into the bristle very tightly to make it stay in place, like that. Then I'm gonna go ahead and do one probably over on this side. All right, at this point, I'm just gonna go ahead and reassess and reflap all of my ribbons, make sure that they show. Bring them up, if they got them squished down, make sure you bring them up and you give them that really pretty shape. Everywhere you can, split them like this. Make sure that your ribbons show because it is one of the really pretty elements of your wreath. And what gives it a lot of texture. And this is what takes the longest right here because you want to make sure they really get split and they get pretty not squished. All right, you guys, so the very last thing I'm gonna add is some of these really pretty snowflakes. And I just have a few, but I really think they're going to add a lot of character. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab my snowflakes and I'm gonna dip the wire into the glue. And I'm gonna find a few spots that are very prominent, like right here. Just gonna go ahead and glue it together. And I think this is going to be it. We're gonna fluff, we're gonna put it on the door and show you what it looks like.